Hello, everybody. It's me, Sonny Clark, with the Off-Season Report. You haven't heard from champions in for indoor football for a while, so I thought I'd take some time to bring you up to date on some of the things that are going on in champions indoor football, as well as bring on a very influential guest that we have. These guys have been around the indoor game for a very, very long time. Got a lot of insights that a lot of people don't have, and he's got a wonderful personality. Once you start talking to him, I'm sure he can talk about football and indoor football for a long period of time. I'm going to bring in the head coach and general manager of the Oklahoma Flying Aces. I'm going to bring on in. There he is. It's Richard Davis. How you doing, Richard? Good to see you. Merry Christmas. You got the tree up.
Yeah, there you go. We got the tree up. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you, Sonny. And thanks for having me. I think this off-season report's going to be great. I have the burden of going first, I guess, but I'm sure we'll hear from all the other coaches, and I'm excited about it.
I am too. I'm really excited about the season. The 2020 season for Champions Indoor Football is coming up here very rapidly as far as the front office is concerned and getting ready for the season. And you have an idea of what we do. What do you do as the season is beginning to start coming, and it's coming at full blast? It's going to be real quick before you know it's going to be right in front of you as well.
Well, yeah. So, your report, your title is a perfect one for us, the off-season report. So for us, it's a year-round venture, because we are the managing partners, my wife and I. And so we're so if you want to use the term GM, but so we're a year-round business, So right now we are in the front office side. We're trying to get all of our corporate partners, under contract, get all of their aspects put together, what they liked from last year, what they want to add this year, trying to get new partners on board, ongoing community events as an example. I think last night we were out downtown here in Enid, working a Christmas parade, that kind of thing. Season tickets, moving into our holiday packages. So you've got all of those aspects happening on the business side. But, oh, by the way, at the same time, I do get the luxury of being able to be our coach. It's something that I care about deeply and love. It's kind of who I really am at my core. And so I also am trying to build the ball club, get all the football operation better. As a lot of fans will tell you, we've got to get a lot better. So we're working both ends of that deal and trying to close ground on this thing.
Yeah, and as the season does rapidly move forward to us, you got the job as the head coach and taking care of the football operations, which means try to re-sign some of the guys that you had on your football team last year that stood out. I mean, granted, we got a lot of players on your team, but you've got a lot of guys that stood out for your football team. And grabbing a little bit of my heart, as I did kick the ball a little bit in high school. Brett Mathis was a wonderful addition to your football team. And also I've been on his Facebook page. I've watched his social media. He's a funny guy to have and everything. Talk a little bit about Brett Mathis and what he means to your organization.
Well, yeah, having Brett back, that's important. We had a couple guys that won league honors this past year. Brett is one of them. He was the first team all CIF kicker. We're very proud of him for that. There's a backstory there. Brett was battling some things early on that he had to fight through, and we watched him progress through all of that. Hung in there with us, and we hung in with him, and the results were awesome. He did a great job. So in order, I think every coach in the league will tell you, you want to get as many players signed as you can in all the positions, but it's always nice to get a couple key spots under contract early, like a kicker, particularly one who's one of the best in the league. So it's good to get Brad on board. He's a great ambassador for our organization. He loves being a part of who we are, what we are. He's always trying to be down here, part of the community event. So we're really happy to get Brad on board early. And then, of course, we've got a couple more anchor pieces. Ray John Ramsey is back with us. Ray John was the CIF Rookie of the Year at quarterback. Yeah. Let me tell you, Ray John just did a fantastic. He kind of represents the growth of our organization, if you will. We started out with early. We were rough around the edges in the organization. Expansion years can be really tough, Sonny. I mean, really difficult to get it all the parts right. You're guessing with your entire team because you don't know who's played. They haven't played for you before, so there's a lot of guesses that you have to make. When we finally stumbled our way into Ray John, the back half of the season, I would argue that he was probably as effective or productive as almost any quarterback in the league. And so to get him back, he's got a year of experience. We're really excited about that. And we've got a couple of other pieces like Braylon Hyder, our center is back. Love to have that middle of the offensive line taken care of. So we've got a bunch of veterans now under contract. We expect, as an example, our offensive skill group that we ended the year with, where we were very competitive on a week-by-week basis. I think we'll have about 98% of those guys all back. And so obviously that's an exciting thing, but then we got to go find those rookies to get better in the spots as well.
Yeah, I was looking at the roster. You got 12 right now that you've already had on your team before returning. You also have about 6 rookies that are going on. But a guy that I really took notice of last year, because I really like watching defense, because in this game, when you have a good football team on the defensive side of the ball, it is huge. And, talk a little bit about Jaden Dobbs. He came from a different team and ended up on your football team. And describe that situation, getting them from another team, and how is it a situation from a young man like that going into a new organization, learning what he learned over there, and then falls up underneath your reins there at Oklahoma?
Well, historically, Sonny, as you know, because we work together on a daily basis, historically, I don't take a lot of players from other teams. I like to go find rookies. It just fits my personality better. But Jaden is one of those exceptions. We had some injuries that we ran into in the middle of the year. Jaden was available. To be very honest with you, the backstory there, Sonny, is we thought we were getting Jaden for 1 week. We made a deal with him, and he thought he was going to head on home, and he's from Wisconsin, and we thought maybe he was going to go sign elsewhere. But he said, "Hey, I'll get you through this week, and then we'll figure it out from there." And he's been here since. In fact, we mean that literally. Jaden is such a big player for us. He's a very, very good football player, but he's also a great person, community leader for us. But he stuck around. He has his teaching certifications. And Sonny, he's actually coaching and teaching here in the local school system.
Fantastic.
Yeah, teaching for Enid High School or Enid Public Schools, I should say. And they love him. And he's got a whole group of junior high boys now that follow him everywhere around and call him Coach Dobbs. So that's some cool stuff for us to add another anchor piece to the puzzle. By the way, he's a good football player too. So he did come from Salina, kind of probably one of the premier teams in our league. Another small market, actually, that we are trying to model ourselves after. I've done a lot of talking to the Salina management and ownership group there, trying to figure out how they run their business, if you will, from a front office side. And so being able to get Jaden, who came from their football operations, and of course we know how good of a coach Teron O'Neill is.
Absolutely.
I was able to, ask Jaden a lot of questions about Coach O'Neill and how they did some things. So we pulled a few things over, and we've grown by virtue of that fact too. So it's good. It's a good win-win there for us.
Over the years, you've been doing this for a very long time in the indoor game. As far as where you foresaw yourself when you first started doing this, I'm sure being in the business for close to 20 years in indoor football wasn't the best plan, or the plan that you actually probably ironed out for you. What was the road travel to get to where we are, as you again are the head coach and the GM of the Oklahoma Flying Aces?
Well, Sonny, if I'm going to be honest with you, I did. You're right. I go back there to like 1999 with this thing. I started in the arena football family, of which, they've had an unfortunate road here lately. I guess we could talk about that. But, I start way back when. My first job was actually in Richmond, Virginia. But interestingly enough, we actually predated that. Most people don't realize I sat on the original board of directors for AF2. My partner and I, we actually had the original franchise market rights for the Shreveport Bossier area. We wound up selling those to another owner, flipping them to another owner. And then I wound up becoming free, and I wound up on the market and wound up in Richmond. We had a great run in Richmond. And I guess this level of football, I guess there's some truth that it gets in your blood. You know, not everyone loves it. I get it. But for me, the truth is I woke up and looked back and I've kind of grown old in this league. I went from a young guy, a romper and stomper at Richmond to, I'm a little older, a little longer in the tooth. Maybe don't romp or stomp much as I good as I used to, but the truth is I've grown to love it. I've grown to love the mission that this level of football provides. It's a viable, doesn't have anything to apologize for on the player front. Our league and all the leagues at this level have produced many, many opportunities for kids to go into the NFL, the CFL, now even the XFL. We've got young men that played for us last year that are in the XFL right now. So I realized early on that I had a lot of respect for the business of the football business side of what we could offer. I loved it. I fell in love with that, if you will, pipeline. On the business side on the front office, I also realized quickly I like that part too. I think we bring a great value to communities. We offer a very affordable family priced product that you can bring your entire family to our games and be completely immersed in our team. You can get to know our players. Jaden Dobbs is a good example. People have rallied around him, and that would never have happened in our community without our team. And so there's real value on both fronts. And I guess I'm just one of the old soldiers of this thing. I don't care what league it is. I don't care if it's other leagues in indoor or arena. I'm rooting for them all. I want them all to succeed because it's good for players, coaches, and fans. And that's for me. I've made a lifetime of this, and that's what matters to me.
Well, with the recent demise of the bankruptcy filing for the AFL, the Arena Football League, I know that kind of tugs at you a little bit because of your experience with it. And I was talking to a friend of mine about, the reputation of indoor football and having this happen. Like you said, it's not a good thing. Even with the competition and everything, that is something as far as what I think, as far as Champions Indoor Football is concerned, or hopefully any other league, would not think that would end up happening. So describe a little bit about the AFL, it's going down, and what you think about the reputation of indoor football with the big one, I guess you could say, going down here just recently.
Well, number one, when you lose opportunity for players to play and earn a living or earn an opportunity to move up, or coaches, etc., I hate that. And so obviously that's happened. But I will tell you, Sonny, what I do believe the silver lining of this is it validates the fact that there is a business reason why our league and other leagues like it are still going strong. It validates the fact that you've got to be able to run this level of professional minor league sports, whether people want to see it this way or not. We're a small business, and we have to run it like a business. It validates the financial model, the financial discipline, if you will, that these leagues demand that you have. If players want these opportunities, then you have to be able to understand that the teams have to operate at a level where they can break even or make a small profit. No one's making millions of dollars in this, not that I know of at these levels. So what you have to do is you've got to find your financial model in your community that works, and you have to have financial discipline by which to run that. And I think the Arena Football League's failure, whereas it's heartbroken, I hate it. I have a lot of friends that are affected. I never want to see that. But when you do step away from the emotional side of it and ask yourselves, why did one not make it? And at the same time, why are others making it? It comes down to the financial model and the discipline that goes into sticking to your guns, sticking to the financial aspect of it. And then over the course of the long term, it'll all balance itself out. So I hate to see it for the arena end of it, but I do think it bodes well for indoor football as a whole on those of us who have stuck to our financial model moving forward.
Yeah, I got and interesting about that, the financial model and everything else that we're doing as Champions Indoor Football. And as we grow, we're growing at a rate that I think is the right rate. I was telling some other people, we had 10 to 11 teams that were interested in coming in our league. And as a league, we had to look at the business model. We had to see what they were doing as a business and what they actually brought to Champions Indoor Football on a good side. And we actually ended up, believe it or not, people won't believe it, but we said no to a couple of teams that wanted entrance into Champions Indoor Football. Explain a little bit about that, because you're a part of that as you were working with the expansion committee to bring in new teams.
Well, you're right. We did. We stepped back this year. I think we as owners, when we sat around our owners table, we asked ourselves, just like coaches do at the end of the year, hey, what have we done well and what have we not done so well? What do we need to fix? And I think we all realized it was time for us as a CIF ownership group, management and operators, to step back and say, what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses, and how do we address and attack those weaknesses? Well, one of those was, it's never good for franchises not to make it through the year. We've experienced our share of that. Now, so have other leagues. They act like they haven't, but they have experienced teams not making it through. We have realized that's not good, so we need to do a better job of making sure we don't get ourselves in that potential outcome to begin with. And so, yes, we did ask a couple of our ownership groups that applied to us to go back to the drawing board, strengthen themselves, maybe in a better plan, maybe it's a better, their pro forma just didn't match up to what we felt like it was. Maybe they just didn't have a good marketing plan, or et cetera, et cetera. We had one as recently as 3 weeks ago, that Sonny. It just was time. Wait for 2021. Don't act out of emotion that you want to jump and put together a team now. Remember, go back. It's still a business.
Yes.
Give yourself a chance to succeed down the line. So I think we've done a good job of that. And I want to jump in here. Maybe I shouldn't, but the thing is, Sonny, I don't want anyone to think that we're taking some indirect shot at other leagues. The truth is, we've made a run at merger. That's not a secret. We made a run at merging with the Indoor Football League a couple years ago. We made a run at merging with the NAL this year. And those things are not done when they don't come together. I think a lot of our fans really believe it's ego, or
yes, they do.
We read all those things, we hear all those things. I can just tell you that's farthest thing from the truth. It's not ego. It is two different business models trying to come together in a partnership that's on the move. That's something that our businesses just don't come to a stop and then we go, okay, anybody want to start up again? So when you try to blend two entire leagues and two different business models and philosophies, for example, we deeply believe in the 12-game model. It's not to say that we're right and someone else is wrong. It's how we've built our businesses.
Right.
Well, when we try to merge with another league that does not have that same model, it's not that they're right or wrong either. It's that if you try to blend it together on the move, that's really a difficult thing.
Absolutely.
It has nothing to do with ego like everyone else thinks. I think I'm rooting for the other leagues to succeed. There's a couple of teams, or if you will, operators in the Indoor Football League that I really admire. I really do. I watched them from a distance. I think they are fantastic operators, and I have learned from them from a distance. And I think some of those same folks watch us. And I think as the days turn to weeks and weeks turn to months and months turn to years, I think people are beginning to realize it's less about ego. It's less about competition. We're all businesses trying to succeed, and we just happen to have our niche that we're focused on. And I do think our owners are doing a great job. Focus on our league, grow as we see fit, where the opportunities are good ones, and work from within there. And I think as long as we stick to that model, we're in this thing for the long game, not the short game. And I think the long game, our business model, if you will, is perfectly set for this business. And I really believe that.
And it's perfectly set for our league. And, being
Yes.
part of those league meetings and the subjects that are brought up and the heartbreak on why you can't do certain things that everybody else is doing and it doesn't fit for this model, and not because it costs money, but it just doesn't make sense on this level, or whatever the case may be. And that's what we deal with. And that's one of the things I've learned being in those meetings. It's not, there is a huge difference between being a fan and then a person that is actually responsible for a franchise within a league to do what they need to do in order to keep up with, doing business the right way and keeping the league in a positive. And that's one thing that hopefully that we are starting and doing better at, is promoting the league in a positive way. And it starts with things like that, going into those meetings, talking about the things that we really need to talk about, not be afraid of doing it.
And Sonny, I commend you. The first steps of being able to do a better job with your PR and getting people to understand your business better is to be transparent and speak with them. And you doing this show as an example, and you and I talking about these things and not being an attack on others, that's the first step forward.
Yep.
We have a great league. I got to tell you, when I said it, so I think our league meetings are next month. And I look forward to those meetings, Sonny. We'll see you and all the owners around the table. These are really good people. They're great community icons from where they're from. And let me tell you something. If you can't learn from a guy like Bob Scott, who's the owner of Sioux City, who happens to be the mayor of Sioux City, if a guy like me can't come to these meetings and learn from Bob on lessons that you can go and apply in your real life, well, then you're just not listening. You're not trying. Yep. So I look forward to these meetings. We get better each time. We start to trust each other better, and it's great. This next one is when all the coaches are there, and that's when you start to kind of get the competitive juices rolling, and you look over and wonder whose roster is better and where do I shape up against that guy. So yeah, it's a fun time. I love it, and I really am glad that you're doing this show, Sonny, because this is our first step to go ahead and start to aggressively manage our message the way we want it.
And the way we want to is the most important thing, because we want to get out the message that we feel is important as far as for our league. So
absolutely.
And he is Richard Davis, a guy that's been around. He started them, he's ended them. He's been everywhere you could possibly be in the indoor game. He is Richard Davis. He is the head coach and GM of the Oklahoma Flying Aces. Thanks for the few minutes here. And hopefully we're going to be bringing on more people as from other teams as well.
I can't wait, Sonny. I think it's great. Make sure you get all their secrets of who they're counting on. I want to hear that. But no, I think we're going to be better. I think we'll be a lot more competitive. We made giant strides in the off season here. Still got to keep going. We got to get it done on the field. But I'm really excited about this year. I think our league this year may be from top to bottom, the strongest we've ever been. West Texas, the new expansion franchise, added a really good football coach in Marcus Coleman, and you've got guys like Irv up in Sioux City. You got to deal with that guy. He and JD, those guys do such a good job of coaching, and of course, Haran O'Neal and Omaha being the icon who they are, and so us in Wichita, we talk all the time and say, hey, how can we band together and get better here? We got to chase the big boys. So. I'm excited, and I know that Julian down in Amarillo is going to keep building that great team. So our 7-team lineup, I'm really excited about this year. I just hope we can win a few more games this year. So we'll see.
Yep, Stephanie down in Amarillo. I hear what you're saying.
Well, Julian, the head coach, but you're right, Stephanie.
Yeah. Oh, Julian, yes, got it. I thought you said Julie. Got it.
It doesn't matter who's in charge there. They always have a great team. So.
Always do. And we look forward to a great 2020 as we move forward. And we're going to be bringing you more of these. We'll be talking to coaches, and we'll be talking to players, hopefully, and owners and good stuff. So everybody, thanks for joining us here on our first edition here. It's going to be some really good stuff. It's the off-season record here with Sonny Clark. We'll talk about it. We'll check it out. We'll see you next time here.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Right here in Champions Indoor Football.